Let's go.
It's loud. It's loud. It's loud.
Yup.
Hear me, boss.
What's up?
Yes, it's loud.
Loud as hell, bro. I just turned it down, man.
You can turn it up a little more, though.
Alright, man. Alright, let's go.
Yeah, turn it up a little more. There you go. Turn it up a little more. You can turn it up a little more. Feel me?
That was
You know what I'm saying?
loud.
That joker came in like, the final word. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, bro.
Blowing my eardrums out, dog.
I know, bro. Hey, listen. Hey, so we got a special guest, man. He gonna be coming in a little bit later.
Yeah. Because he's doing this thing over there, interviewing players and all that kind of stuff. You know who it is.
Yeah, y'all know who he is. You already know. Mr. Cal.
The final word.
Let's go. Yeah, man. So that's exciting, man, because they ending it over there. So we go get a full take today, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a lot of clips, man. Like, hold on real quick. Let
A
me
lot
see
of
how
things happening.
Man.
The final
Man.
word.
The
Full
final
clip.
word.
Full clip.
I like the full clips.
It's been a while since I hit that yoga flame, man.
The final
Oh,
word.
yeah,
Fire.
the final word. Yo got flame. You don't be messing with that yo got flame no more, dog. I don't know why.
It's like Christmas,
hating on that
man. You know
yoga.
how it is. You get used to your tone.
You hating on that yo got flame,
I know,
yeah,
but
but
that
you
yoga
gotta
flame
keep
is
that.
money.
That yo got flame is yo got flame because he's
is.
blowing it.
It is money. It is
Because when he
money.
hits you with that yo got flame, you on fire, dog.
Yoga
'Cause he be
fire.
Word.
Yoga
Yo got
flame.
flame.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Oh yeah.
It's different when that flame hits different.
And that's how
Yo got
Diggs was
flame.
today, man. What got into Diggs?
I mean, he got, I don't know, tired of the talk. You know what I mean? Tired of
was
all
like-
that noise.
Shut up.
Dracarys.
Hey, if you see you get this bag, you gotta back up the bag. You gotta back up the bag.
Everybody that was saying he ain't worth that bag, they was like,
Final
wait.
word.
Everybody like, hold up. Like, he was playing like his receiver-ish ways.
Oh man. So nah, man, like nah. It's looking good though, man. I'm real excited. So y'all already know your boy Big,
The final word.
your boy Boss. We go carry this thing. And I sent Law
The
a
final word.
backdoor link, so we might get Law today.
We might get low. Just
Yeah.
never know.
You just never know, man. Shouts out to my brother Law, man, and prayers up.
Yeah,
for
shout out for sure.
him. Yeah, man, prayers up for Law. Should we also tell him right now, bro?
What's that?
The final word.
Let's go ahead and
The
tell him.
final word.
So we got Cal this week.
word.
We
The
also got
final
coming
word.
next week his
The
counterpart,
final word.
The final word.
Miss Haley Sutton.
Yeah.
Final word.
I mean, we went out there and got the trilogy. You feel me? Got out there and got the trilogy out there, dog. You feel me? You know what I'm
We
saying?
bringing on the whole crew.
You know what I'm saying? We got the whole trilogy out here.
Yeah. I've been wanting
The
to talk to
final
Haley.
word.
I've been wanting to talk to Haley. So shouts out to them, man. They showing us a lot of love. I really appreciate it.
Oh, I love it. I love it. You know what I'm saying? Because they the three up and comers. They are holding it down for the ladies for the Dallas Cowboys, man.
Yeah, they are. Very good job. I think they have single-handedly got rid of stereotyping.
Yes.
It ain't
Yes.
completely gone, but it's way
Right.
better now. They have equal the playing field in 1
Yes.
year.
Yeah. Because they come with that knowledge, dog. It ain't no joke.
Yep.
The final
me?
word.
Yep. Let's go.
Let's get it.
Yeah, I just wanna run it up. Can we check or something? I've been really in the field, let up. Yeah,
Really in the field.
I've been really in the field, let her rush, I let her feel. Lately, I just wanna run it up. Don't need no deals, I make the deal. Have to take it to a meal. Lately, I just wanna run it up. Yeah, kinda check or something. Lately, I just wanna run it up. Lately I just wanna run it up. Need them ones, I need them fives. Need them tens, I need that change. To the safe, got blues inside. Greens and pinks, it's all the same. I still save and roll my change. Take some losses when I play, charge it to the game. I'm with L, yeah, I'm with T Black, I'm with Reverend now. I'm with Bay, yeah, I'm with Jay, yeah, I'm with Chuck and now. Still the same, not switching sides, now it's about loyalty. You switch sides off for the bag, and that's worth more to me. I mix Nike with designer, I experiment. You just rock what's on the shelf, and I'm not feeling it. Search for the one, but baby girl, it's nothing real as this. Can't trust a soul, I keep a hammer, call it too legit. I've been really in the field, love the rush, I love the feel. Lately, I just wanna run it up.
Yeah, man, that never get old, bro.
It can't get old. I mean, I've been waiting for it to get old. I've been waiting, like,
It ain't
I think
got
I've been
old.
waiting for, like, but when they hit that part, I'm like, all right. I sing it every time.
Yeah.
Every time I sing
Yeah.
it. Not one time. Even if I've been in a funny mood, whatever, I'll be singing it on the low. That song, that's a perfect song, dog.
Oh man, it is. So once again, we want to remind y'all, man. So obviously, Cal is coming in a little bit later. He's wrapping up some interviews, and they working hard for the community. Like Cal has already done today about 4 shows.
Right.
and he gonna finish it out with us, man. So that's just dope. Really appreciate him, because man, we got a lot of questions. Also, bro, let's go ahead and kind of start with while we holding it down, waiting on him to come on in. That sound like the OC. That sound like the OC. When I hear a car door, watch it be the OC. Watch it be the OC. When I hear a car door, watch this.
I like that. I like
Bingo.
that.
Told you.
I like that. See, OC be knowing when I'm on here on the solo dolo. OC like, you know what? I got to jump in there with Big Game. I just feel it. I just feel it in my heart, in my soul.
Yeah, man, we be needing y'all, bro. It be funny with somebody missing. OC, let me go ahead and build you in the show. But go ahead, man. How you doing, big dog?
I'm doing good, man. Thank y'all for holding it down. Y'all are all doing tremendous work, man. I salute all that, the interviews, the shows, the updates. You guys are killing the game, man. So first of all, salute to y'all. Big Game, always an honor. Boss, my numero uno, man, holding it down, doing great things. And, special shout out and special love and prayers, man, to my guy, Law Nation, man, going through some stuff with the fam. But, man, we love him, man, and got you in our thoughts and prayers, man, and we'll hold it down, man, until you get back. So,
yeah, we gonna hold it down for you, bro. And we sent Law a back door, so Law might come in. Shoot, you know how it go.
He might come in with that horn.
Yeah, that's how we gonna know.
He might come in with that horn.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, that's gonna make my day if Law come up in here, bro. I'm gonna see. Because it's a different magic when we all together. It really is, bro. Come on, let's keep it real. It's a different.
yeah.
All right, so let's get kind of, because listen, y'all, this has really pissed off some people, bro. Really tough.
And hard in the streets.
Hard in the streets, bro. Literally, my boy Jay Tuck was like, man, I talked to he was pissed. So let's kick it off always with you, big man. So what's your thoughts on this, bro?
I mean, you know what? Y'all gotta expect this, man. It's the Dallas Cowboys, dog. It's the lightning rod. I understand where Chuck is coming from in an instance. I do. Trust me. I understand where he's coming from. But we gotta know this is Jerry. This is the Cowboys. This is what's gonna happen. Yeah. And he's had conversations with Ocho, and even I heard him going back and forth with Rome, where it's like, y'all do a lot of sensationalism, y'all talk all this stuff, but y'all still, leached onto the Cowboys. And he's like, yeah, we got to be able to cipher that. But, I didn't trip on it because, it just seemed like it was bound to happen. It was bound to come around the corner. So, they were saying that, they asked Jaden McCoy about, his comments about Dak. He supposedly didn't back down, because I ain't really listened to him, because I don't listen to McCoy because I know the angle he's trying to come from. but it's just another thing of you latching on to the Dallas Cowboy lore. They dog Dallas, right? They talk trash about Dallas, but y'all latch on to Dallas every second y'all get. Because guess what? You're going to tell me they ain't got more followers by them going up there? You ain't going to tell them they ain't getting more clicks and views on that channel and show now that they showed up at Dallas Cowboy camp, although I heard they were only in there for the brief moment. They weren't there for actual practice. They didn't do anything like that. But just to get just to get their stuff up. If you want to, just like they say with the players, right, Boss and OC, if you want to get your game up, say you want to go to the Cowboys. Okay. Yep. Say I want to go to the Cowboys. Then everybody's gonna start turning their ears up and what's going on? You want to go to the Cowboys? The Cowboys are the ultimate pull. We've seen it. Remember when Earl Thomas, when he did the pump fake with us? You know what I mean? There's been tons of players and people have done the pump fake and used the Dallas Cowboys. And I think this is just another instance where people are using the Cowboys fame and name to get their things up. And that's just my opinion. You ain't for the people. You're for your numbers.
Yeah, man, big facts, man. I've said this for years, that talking about the Dallas Cowboys, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, or talking about the players, it's just really good for business. It's great for business. And so that's what Sean McCoy has done here, man. That's what everybody does. And here's the other caveat. Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones don't mind. They don't mind if you talk about them for business, because whatever attention and media highlights they can get is great for marketing and for brands. So at the end of the day, this is business. You know, listen, Shady, no offense, man, he was a great football player in his prime, but he's a Cowboys hater. He's just a Cowboys hater, and it's almost like he's a bittered wife that got divorced for a younger, better-looking woman. You know, that's what he is. He's like a bitter ex-wife, and he's just kind of a hater, man. But hey, for his business, for his brand, whatever he's doing, he's gonna use the Cowboys platform and get as much as he can out of it. And so that part, man, it is what it is.
And it's smart. It's smart what those networks do, where they go get an antagonist that played for Philly. That's gonna give you a natural hate for the Cowboys, you know, and it's gonna come across. It's gonna come across. So because they market into the hater crowd. But I did want to say something real quick though. Chuck raised a hell of a point that I wanted to bring to the public. We was talking in private. It is on principle, because me and Tuck talked about this on principle. It is kind of, it hurt to know that they walked out there and got privileged media passes and they are there not to watch the practice, not to observe, but to photo op, leave, and continue to disrespect.
Right.
And they get the privileged media passes. Blogging and the boys didn't get it. Law Nation, he does 4 or 5 million views a month. Law does more for Cowboy Nation than they do, and can't get a high level media clearance. Like that is a hell of a point. I want to kind of talk about that. Let's go back around the circle, Big. It's on you.
I mean, it's tough, dog, but you know, once again, I just feel like it's the nature. It's the nature of the business. You know, I mean, I just feel like it's the nature of the business. No matter if we get frustrated or not, it's the nature of this business that is going to happen. Come on, they're a national network, right? They're a lightning rod. And guess what? Just like OC said, whether it's good publicity or if it's negative publicity, Jerry has even said this. He said this himself. I don't care if it's negative publicity, because guess what? You're still talking about Cowboys. And that's what he ultimately wants. And that's why I don't feel like they shy away from it, because guess what? The Cowboys in the news, the team is getting seen. They're getting more views, more numbers. You're talking about the Cowboys. This helps the marketing. It does everything to help the Cowboys as well. So I just feel like they're not going to take that away. And at the end of the day, it does suck that happened. But guess what? We got a guy named Dak Prescott. No matter what Shady McCoy has said about him, he's still the ultimate professional, and he's still going to be that kind of professional, even if that stuff comes in him. So I don't feel like, you know what? What can you really say about it? You can't really do anything about it.
That's what
they
I'm
should.
saying. They should.
They should.
If you giving them access, right? Who spit on your brand? Like, what about the people that love your brand? The people that do this day in and day out? I think Tuck got a real good point, Big.
I mean, he does. I can't, but you know what? That's what I'm saying, though. Let's be honest. If we're gonna be honest right here.
Please.
We're still looked down on in this community, in my opinion.
Yeah.
To the Cowboys in certain aspect of there are higher ups in there.
Yeah.
There's a hierarchy up in
is.
there that still has their nose up to us.
True.
So they're gonna look at us like, why should y'all get it? Y'all YouTubers, y'all ain't did nothing. Y'all ain't put in no work. Y'all just talking on air. We got guys that have been there and done this in the Cowboys lore and things of that nature. So y'all ain't gonna get that pass. You know, I feel like that's where they still look at us in the aspect. So it's kind of like you were talking about when you talked about the ladies kicking in the doors with the Dallas Cowboys and how they were taking down how people think of females in sports.
Yeah.
Well, we still have to break down doors the way they look at us in this community as far as what we do and what we put out, because there's still a little stigma to us, in my opinion, that they still be like, nah, not y'all.
Well. The truth of the matter is this. They look at us as wannabes. They look at us as the redhead. Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Some of them do.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. Some of the influential people look at us like wannabes, and they look at us like the red-headed stepchild, the water boy, or something like that. At the end of the day, man, like this is what this is. Did I freeze out?
You good? Keep going.
Oh, but
You good? Keep going.
All right, so you know, at the end of the day, too, on the balance side, I believe both of those guys are ex-NFL players, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they already worked for ESPN, so it could be very possible. And I don't know how they do the media clearances, first of all. So let me say that. But I'm saying it could be possible that they already had media clearances, like kind of wherever they go because of the network. True. And so it was a natural integration for when they came to the Cowboys because they're on that level and they work for a national network. So that's kind of about it. But I mean, Jay Tuck is correct. Like, if you're being fair, but here's the reality. This ain't fair. This ain't fair. This has nothing to do with fair. But if we're talking about fair, he's right. But this has nothing to do with fair. This is not fair. Newsflash. It's not fair. And by newsflash number 2, it won't ever be fair. It won't ever be fair. So this is the nature of the beast, man.
Yeah. And just to expand upon that, boss, let's be honest. Who do they think is going to do numbers there? Like you just said, FS1 or a Dallas Cowboys content creator like us? They're going to look at us like, man, y'all ain't doing numbers for us. They are, and we're going to go roll with that. And that's just the way it is.
We are doing numbers. We doing crazy numbers.
We doing numbers, boss. But is it popular for them? Is it popular for them?
Yes.
Not in their eyes, because they're.
I think that's the thing. And first of all,
ex-NFL players.
My brothers, I love Big. I love UOC. But when I'm making a pitch that we should get a media pass, agree with me.
All right.
I agree with you. But I'm being honest about the why. I agree with you. I'm just being honest about the why.
We don't want the honesty right now, big dog. Just to be honest with you.
Okay.
Right? No.
Okay.
And then I disagree with you on that too, OC. I got to fight you on that. Me and you got to go head up on that. So let's go.
Come on.
So first of all, we are definitely not no wannabes, and I think that has been established through the new media. It's established. That's why so many people rocking with us. Like, people not rocking with us because we wannabes. They rocking with us because we move in the nation, bro. Like we do. Now, are we major movers? Not yet, but people do recognize. Absolutely. Like, Brian Broaddus came on just from me doing a video on DNA. He hit me and Tuck up. Like, I'm not saying we all that, but come on, bro. No, we is not no wannabes. And then on top of that, look at how many people, even just on the final word, that's not talking about how many people messing with Big exclusively. That's not talking about how many people messing with Law. That's not talking about how many people go on Scott Show in the mornings. Vach, come on now. Like, John Machota just did something with Fuster King. Like, no, we are definitely not wannabes. And I know that that's fully established. Now, if you're talking about on the national level, I can see Shady and McCoy thinking we some wannabes. But in the nation, we definitely are not wannabes.
Yeah, dog, I agree with you. We're not wannabes, and that's not what I was saying. I'm saying at time in places we can be looked at as such.
Yeah,
that's all I was saying.
It makes sense.
In certain places we can be looked at as such. Now locally, no, we rock. You know, everybody knows, I think, for the most part, who we are. But at the end of the day, man, it's. And this is me being honest on this. Yes, we should have media passes because of what we do and the people we talk to and the people we know and the people that we know that has not even been on our show yet, to be as a matter of fact. You know what I'm saying? But you know, it's levels to the game, and perception for some people is reality. Now, the perception is not always the reality. You know what I mean? With people that may see us as wannabes, but however, it is a stigma and a perception, and you got to fully overcome it if you do content in the manner in which we do it. And we're not professional, quote unquote. And notice I say quote unquote, labeled as a professional journalist. That's what I'm saying.
I'm going to say one more thing, and then I'm going to see if Big got something on this. Just to push back on you a little bit. It's a reason why a lot of them are actually quitting their media jobs to come do what we do. Because you know what they figuring out? You got more freedom. You got more creative freedom. You also have more money. See, they ain't gonna talk about that.
True.
See, they ain't gonna talk about how they had to pay McAfee because of the money he was already making. They ain't gonna talk about how they had to pay Shannon Sharp because when he started that Shay, the checks he getting from Shay is better than the checks I guarantee he getting from XS1. By himself.
You're right, boss.
By himself. So people, yeah. So listen, like I ain't acting like I'm rich, but I ain't begging. You know what I'm saying? I'm not begging. My glasses new. I got a little bit. I got a little bit more flair. You know what I mean? So, and it's gonna keep growing. So they are figuring it out. OC.
You're right. No argument on that, bro. It's definitely a step up in freedom and in potential earning revenue. We increase in the corporate job into the realm of entrepreneurship. You know, and that's what we are. So yeah, man, that's it. Yeah, man, you're right.
Big, you had something on that?
Well, I mean, you know, I agree with you, boss, but I'm gonna just say that. You know, I went to media school. I'll jump out there. I went to media school. So, you know, we talked about that, you know, and one of the reasons why, because I wanted to have that media background, because when I wanted to do this type of thing, they couldn't come at me and say, oh, you ain't got nothing. Yeah, I do. I got something on my background, and I wanted to have this. I felt like that would be a label against us. So also, and I'm going to just keep it real. You know, I try to keep it real as possible, y'all. Some people are fearful for jobs. Some people up top up there are fearful of what we bring to the table. And we bring a type of thing that they don't bring. And when you do that, people get fearful. People get nervous. People worry about jobs. And sometimes those things don't open up for you as easily because they know that you are a threat. And just like you said, before there was a label, y'all just YouTubers, but next thing you know, people got YouTube channels. People are all popping up YouTube and you know, making shows every other day and talking Cowboys and getting money. So they see, like you said, boss, that the freedom of being able to say what you want. And even when we've had guests, people say, hey, I love coming on your show because, you know, I can talk. I can just talk how I want to. And a lot of them like that. But once again, we come with that raw energy, dog. We bring what the people want. You feel me? Totally. And yes, we should definitely be able to kick in those doors. But sometimes those doors don't want to be open. But what we're doing right now is continue to apply pressure on our end by bringing in the top dogs that you said in the media front from the Dallas Cowboys, the players, the insiders. So, it's a slow process, but I think it definitely will happen. But it's just a slow process because let's look at it, boss. When I first went to training camp in 2018, I believe, they weren't even thinking about us then. So let's look at the progress.
Yes.
They was not thinking of us at all. Where you see with Tuck and Law and those guys, they weren't letting us do that before. They weren't recognizing us like that. Wasn't none of us out there like that. So I've been in the process, so I can say I think it is going to happen because I seen the process from the beginning where they didn't even recognize us, and now look at it. So I believe it's just a step-by-step process, and eventually we are going to kick it in.
Yeah. Well said, big dog. And
Well said, big.
Okay. I thought you was gone. Dwayne Brown, something happening with my chats is not pulling all the way in, so I'm gonna read your super chat. He said, "Hail to the Kings! Our Cowboys content creators keep rocking." I love it. Thank you, Dwayne. And then Smoke 14. Smoke be killing that Twitter.
Smoke one for you, dog.
Man, that boy be killing Twitter, man. God, dog.
No, you always be saying Smoke 14 is Smoke one for you.
Always Smoke one for you, my bad.
Yeah, dog.
Real quick.
See, I did that same mistake.
I had to hit that on myself. Oh,
You feel me? Don't worry about it, because I did it the first time, and then I looked at it again. I said,
Smoke
no,
one for ya.
That's Smoke one for ya.
All right, my bad. My boy say, "Boss and the rest of the last word." It's the final word, but it's all good. I did that before. He said, "Boss and the rest of the final word. Hope you all have a good season because the defense is real." It is.
Yeah.
He said, and that's
real.
all. He said, teams need to be afraid. Oh yeah, they definitely afraid. Definitely afraid. All right, so here we go.
They ain't afraid with that Simi Fehoko picture up on the board. Like, I'm gonna leave him alone.
But see, man,
I'ma leave him.
I was finna change the topic, but you kind of got me thinking when you start talking about intimidating.
Yeah.
So, because I noticed something. See, when we start talking too free, listen, hear me out. Hold on, let me put the camera on me. See, when we start talking too free and we have guests, you know what the guests always say? Y'all crazy. You know what I'm saying? You know
Or they get quiet. They get quiet.
They make it clear that's y'all. That's not me.
Right. They like to. They know when to what's the word? Differentiate.
Yeah.
Yes.
Differentiate. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, y'all crazy.
Oh, you fun.
Yeah, you want to.
That was a great joke y'all just did.
I be like, you don't think I peeped you on that, dog? Oh, y'all so funny. Y'all hilarious. Oh, so you ain't in it, huh? You ain't in it. Oh, you can't talk free like me, huh?
Right. They know it.
All right, man, let's get back to football.
The streets is watching.
Hey, the streets is watching. Listen, we keep it respectful, but we gonna say what we gotta say. That's what it is.
Right.
So,
sure.
so we still stalling for Kyle. We gonna talk a little bit football while we stalling, and then we go. Obviously, if he don't come in, we'll just postpone it, y'all. Just y'all be patient, cause he's super busy, y'all. He fitting us in. He fitting us in.
For real. It really is. I mean, shout out to Kyle, because he's going hard in the paint out there, dog.
Yes,
he
is.
Interviewing. I mean, I don't know how he getting sleep, bro. I'm gonna keep it real, because I mean, he's posting his MVPs. He's interviewing. He's doing the Cowboys daily talk. I mean, that takes a lot of. We already know, right? We know how tiring it is to just do one show, right? Yeah. And build a board. Imagine going all day and doing that.
And he usually the host of the shows. See, that's the thing with him.
So you got to bring the energy.
Yeah, he the main guy. Like
he got to bring it.
Yeah, bro.
He sets the tone.
So shout out to him, man. We stalling for him, man. You just what we do. And see, this is the thing. We can see. This is the cool thing about us. We can tell y'all we stalling.
Yeah.
See, we got a lot.
Yeah, and here's the great thing about it. We can also tell you, hey man, it may not go because but guess what? It is gonna go because I know how Kyle is. So he ain't doesn't know. He's never the type of guy for ditch or do anything like that. So I'll never trip on that. No. That is nothing to the sort. It's just this man is major busy.
Yeah, that's all it is. And trust me, he committed. And like you said,
we were talking back and forth the whole time.
Yeah. Like Kyle has never been a problem. So, and appreciate all the super chats, man. Patrice said, "Keep killing the game, fellas. New media, baby.
New media."
In my law voice, ain't nobody got a law voice though. Patrice, we all tried, but none of us got that. She said Dallas Cowboys for life. I tried a few
times.
I tried. I really did. I tried. Nothing but
I was like, people told me my voice is deep, but how come it ain't law deep?
I know.
Law's a baritone. You know, that's what you call it. That's deeper than deep. Baritone.
He's natural. He's natural.
Yeah.
Barry White.
You be like, God damn.
Isaac Hayes.
We go sneak in some ball though. Let's get some ball in real quick.
Let's get it in.
All right, so this is something right here that's super hot to me. Lisa, what's up, baby? Lisa, what's going on? I love to see you, Lisa. All right, check this out. Let's talk.
So you got Brandon Cooks now added to the receiver room. How has that changed the dynamic?
Wait. And shout out to Sports Illustrated. We got the link in the description. But check this out. Let's talk about this.
Mike McCarthy taking over play calling. What has been the biggest difference?
I'll just say the biggest difference, he ain't making it hard like it was last year.
I'm going to just stop right there.
That's all you got to say. That's all you got to say.
That's all you got to say. Talk to me, B.
You don't need to interview no more. Because you know what's funny? Let's keep it real, right? Y'all know like I know. When the manager's at the job, when you're working, you don't say nothing. You just say, okay, boss, whatever. When that manager leave, man, dog, that mother's couldn't do nothing, dog. You know what I'm saying? That's what it feels like right here. Everybody, you know, you don't want to rock the boat as far as sometimes some of these guys. Turpin, listen, let's think about it. Turpin came in last year from the USFL, right?
Yep.
He came in as a new signee. He had been battling to try to get into the NFL. So you know he wasn't saying this last year.
No.
He wasn't going to say nothing to take his spot.
No.
Because he knew that if he probably said something, you ain't going to never see the light of day of the field, period. We know that. So, you know, you got to keep quiet because of the situation. Now that element is gone, okay, I feel free now. Now I can go ahead and speak how I want to. Oh, it's a lot easier. And you know what? That's been the theme when we hear a lot of the receivers saying, you know what? We don't have to think as much when we go to the line of scrimmage. When we come and play ball, we're just playing ball. And that's where that West Coast concept comes, where you're talking more of the player than more of the scheme.
Right.
And I think that's where you're not naturally when you can play fast is when you don't have to think. That's when you play fast. And that's what you're looking at this offense, at least in my opinion. What I've seen from training camp, they are playing fast and they're playing quick. The receivers are playing. Look at Brandon Cooks. That boy is lighting up. And look at Turpin. He's made himself into a receiver on the team. You don't think that wouldn't have happened if you would have had the play calling the way it was?
No.
I think that's where you see the difference already.
Man, talk that talk, big. Ooh, man. Hold on, wait. Wait, before you go, I got to hit my boy. Hold on.
Hey, I love being a Cowboy.
Big game, James.
Game changer.
Let's have some fun. Let's have a good time, man. Let's kick it.
I don't know if you got to bring it down, see.
Man, look, man, at the end of the day, man, look, Big said most of it, but I'm going to say this. When you can just play fast and be free, then you go get the best out of NFL caliber dudes. And no offense to any NFL dude, it's a lot of brilliant guys in the NFL, but man, the less you got to think on that football field and the more you can be instinctive and know your responsibility and go, the better you're going to do, because that highlights your athleticism. That highlights really what got you to the NFL, which in some combination, it is speed, it's athleticism, and it's physicality. And so that's what Mike McCarthy is doing. He's basically letting football players be football players, not in a stigmatized way as if football players can't think, but he's letting you in this area of life, when you're on the football field, help, be free, be physical, be fast, be a football player. And so that's what it takes, man, for us to be successful. And I think that at the end of the day, man, it's going to pay off dividends because physically speaking, this team is going to be better than a lot of teams we play. Physically, man on man, physical, faster, better, more athletic, and we gonna just be able to beat people one-on-one because of the call playing and some of the matchups. That's my opinion.
Oh, well said. Hey, and can I be honest? I've been thinking about something today, bro. I'm gonna be all the way honest, and I'm glad Cal not here yet because I wouldn't want to say that while he's in here. But I've noticed something. I am frankly kind of sick of how there seems to be a spirit of tiptoeing about talking about Kellen Moore. Like, why does everybody tiptoe around it? Because see, we as fans or nobody have no problem critiquing that. Nobody. But when it comes to Kellen Moore, it's looks. Like CeeDee Lamb gave a look. Like, why can't, what's up with people just being like, you know what?
Because, boss, it's business. Think about it. He went and got the offensive coordinator job immediately. Probably had it before he got fired for the San Diego Chargers. He is a golden child that several people in this league like, quiet as it's kept. And the Cowboys loved him. The Cowboys loved him so much they fired a couple Mike McCarthy's right-hand men because they had to let him go just to get back at Mike McCarthy. So everybody's cognizant of football and their longevity in the league, and that this guy might end up being my offensive coordinator somewhere else. If I get traded, he might end up being a head coach somewhere where I get traded and I'm trying to get paid. So I need to be wise and watch him out. And
it ain't even
no, hear me out.
Media,
it's media. It's media too.
But listen,
they know the date.
Go ahead.
Just real quick. They know in my opinion, and y'all correct me if y'all think I'm wrong, they know the deep love and favor that he had with that Jones family, man. And that they know that. Like, they're more intricately intertwined with it than we are because some of them are closer to the building than we are. Yeah. They know how much love that they have for that dude, so they're watching their back. This is relationship management, and they don't want to be a part of some collateral damage that comes back later. That's why they being cool. That's why.
That's the benefit of us, though, because see, we ain't worried about that stuff. We ain't got to worry about who the Jones is like and all that, so we can be flat-footed and just say, man, call a spade a spade. You know what I mean? Just call a spade a spade. And let me say something too. This don't mean that he's not smart. This don't mean that he's not going to be good. You know? This don't mean that he's not even genius. You know, I think there's a lot of truth about his intelligence. But the way we was tiptoeing around him, you couldn't help him. You couldn't tell him, bruh, you need some gum. Your breath smells. You know, because everybody is tiptoeing. Big.
I don't think everybody's tiptoeing because, you know, I just seen an interview with Brian Schottenheimer once again. And the thing that I saw on Schottenheimer, he said belief in identity. Mm-hmm. And when he had that little, and when you listen to what he said, you know, you can trick people with the run game for so long. I feel like that was a dig. I feel like that was a dig, in my opinion, because we always saw Kellen Moore get tricky with that run game. And when we try to get 2 yards, he would get tricky as hell with the run game. It's like, why'd you just run that run game play? And we just need 2 yards, dog. And I heard Schottenheimer say, you know what? We need to be able to run the ball when everybody in the whole daggone stadium knows we're going to run the ball, and we need to be able to still run it effectively, meaning my receivers got to go hard, my tight ends, everybody's got to have this belief that we're going to be able to run the ball on the teams even though they know it, because it's going to help us in the end because we'll be able to build off play action. That's what I feel like Dak is really good at the play action pass. I think that's his game. And so I feel like we also heard Mike McCarthy all last year before he got rid of him in the media talking about, I don't like those type of routes. We need to keep running with the ball. We shouldn't have left him running with the ball. So I heard a lot of Mike McCarthy will say a lot of things against Kellen Moore, and then all I saw was Kellen Moore, next thing you know, have a job with the Chargers, and now it's Cowboys. So there were coaches within the Cowboys saying something about the Golden Child.
Hold on real quick. Good
Yeah,
point,
but
though,
let me
Big.
say-
Wait. Hold on. I'm sorry, Big and OC. We gotta take a slight break. We got over 324 people watching right now with
Likes.
only 131 likes. Oh,
Get them up.
no. Get the likes up. That is crazy. Go ahead, OC.
No, man, look. Well, listen, if anybody was going to take a dig, and it's very, very interesting, the person you named, Big, it will be Brian Schottenheimer. Brian Schottenheimer was a consultant at the Cowboys a year before he took over the offensive coordinator position. He was slid into the building, low-key back door, by yours truly, Mike McCarthy. So if there's anybody that had the courage and the testicular fortitude to say anything about this man, it would be Brian Schottenheimer, because he's the guy that is trying to prove that he's better and more proficient, efficient, and a better decision maker than our guy, Kellen Moore. So that's his job this year. He got to prove he's better. And so, yeah, he's motivated. And yeah, he go take a dig at him because he's looking at the guy. He's evaluating his play calls. He think, man, why did he do that? Why did he do this? He shouldn't have done that. I would have done this. I would have ran it like that. I would have done this. Why didn't we run here? Why do we go? Why do we go spread when we're on our own 5-yard line? Why do we do that? Why do we do? Why do we do play action pass when we're on our own 2-yard line? Why do we do that?
Right.
That's what he's thinking. So now he's gonna spend this whole season trying to prove that he's superior, and that's good because that's what we want, and that's what's gonna make the Cowboys pop because he got to prove he's better.
Hell of 5 point, OC. Now, I was talking to Scott today. We was talking about, right? We was having a great talk. So I'm gonna take our talk and put it in the public because because this is what I said, bro. We was talking behind the scenes, and I said, I'm being all the way honest. I said I sense a little bit of a divide between Mike McCarthy and Brian Schottenheimer. It's not big, but I sense it, right? When you listen to both of them talk philosophy, Brian Schottenheimer is almost Jason Garrett in terms of his belief in running the ball, okay? But then you got Mike McCarthy, that's a perimeter guy, but he also believes in running the ball. But I believe Brian is more dogmatic about it, right? And so then Scott was like, yeah. He said, yeah, on top of that, they talked about it. He said, do y'all kind of get at it? He said, oh, yeah, we do. But Scott was like, this is where you don't need to be worried. And it was a good point. He said, because they worked together before.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, that's a very good point. And then this is the other part that we discussed. I thought it was just a good talk. Finally, we have the org aligned right. You know what I mean? To where at first Kellen Moore was bossing Mike McCarthy. But this time, Brian Schottenheimer is going to be basically just advising Mike. He's not leading Mike. So I was like, yeah, that's it, yeah. So what's y'all thoughts on that, man? Just as we kind of getting ready, for the season. We got us a super chat. He say, boss, you guys keep speaking the truth and the great content. Love it. How about them Cowboys? Appreciate you, Ernest. What's your thoughts on that, Big?
I mean, I'm gonna look at it like this. Kellen Moore, this was his first OC job.
Yeah.
Okay. Kellen Moore wasn't an offensive coordinator anywhere else. He didn't raise up to the ranks. He didn't coach another offense, was an offensive coordinator for another team. He was raised through the ranks of the Dallas Cowboys, much like Jason Garrett. The same exact way.
Right.
So you got a guy named Mike McCarthy who's won a Super Bowl, who's been to playoffs numerous times, who's called offenses, who's had top players come over to Kellen Moore. Now you two are, I'm listening to Kellen Moore, who's gotten, but Coach Moore called him baby whistle. He got Similac behind his ears. And so now Mike McCarthy, I got to listen to you. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Mike McCarthy's like, why do I got to listen to this dude? He ain't been there. He ain't been in the war. I made a video and said, I think the dynamic is good between Schottenheimer and McCarthy because Schottenheimer has been through the war. How many pictures have you showed when you seen Schottenheimer with different teams? Look at the name. First of all, he's been around the league. First of all, look at the name. And he's been there and done that with numerous squads, been successful. So don't you think, in my opinion, you're going to have a better dynamic with a McCarthy and a Schottenheimer? And yeah, I don't mind them going back and forth because, like you said, they know each other.
Yeah.
Kellen Moore and Mike McCarthy going against each other, y'all don't know each other so that's going to cause friction. That causes feelings. That causes divide. And then you start saying, oh, I'm going to go over on my section and do it my way, and I'm going to be over this way. And guess what? Who suffers? The team. That's why I believe the team is not going to suffer, because even though those guys might get into it, they have a genuine, I feel like, one mind, one thought of, we still have the ultimate thing is we want to win these games and we want this team and these players to be successful. And when you have that, it's better unison for the team. The team feeds off that. Team sees divide, and if your offensive coordinator and coach are not on the same page, the players see it, and guess what? It hurts the team, and I think it has hurt the team in inopportune moments. Green Bay, when he threw the helmet down, Jacksonville, we seen it right there and before our eyes, y'all.
Yeah, we saw it for sure. Ooh, we good boy. That boy cooking today. Man.
Yeah, man. And look, here's the deal, man. And this is the balance of this whole equation. Brian Schottenheimer really knows how to win football games. And overall, he's been a winning coach in his career. He's from a football icon, the late, the great Marty Schottenheimer. He grew up around scheme. He grew up around football and coaching and all those things. And he's had some coaching success in various positions himself. Now, here's the balancing factor in this whole thing that we hadn't mentioned. We kind of touched on it, is that he is not the boss of Mike McCarthy. He is giving feedback.
Yes.
He's implementing his portion of the offense, and that Mike McCarthy is the ultimate decision maker. So regardless of how much he wants to run the ball or how much Mike McCarthy wants to go vertical, it has to be a symbiotic relationship in the sense that we have to figure out how to blend our ideals to have the most explosive and game responsible offense, because we're by all looks of this, we're going to have a great defense. We're going to have a top 5, maybe top 3 defense, right? We're going to have a great defense. So what we got to do, we got to go out here and be smart, attack when we need to attack, burn clock when we need to burn clock, close the game out when we need to close the game out, etc., so on and so forth. So we just got to be really just solid. We don't have to be great because we got some good offensive pieces. We got some dudes that can tote it. We got some dudes that can catch it. We got a quarterback who can throw it, and we're going to have a solid offensive line. So we just almost got to go out here and just be effective and be practical and not screw off games. That's what we got to do.
Let me read this super chat right quick, boss.
Yeah, please do.
It's from Smoke 140. Shout out to you, dog. He's always showing mad love. I love him, dog.
Man, Smoke.
Really appreciate you.
Appreciate you, Smoke.
$5 holler. He says, tell us fans this though, and I'm in unison with this. How come Mike McCarthy can find a way to already get Turpin involved, but Kellen Moore couldn't? He just wasted talent and production. Mr. Sabotage himself, Kellen Moore.
Yeah.
And we understand that Turpin came in late, right? We understand that. But we kept on saying to ourselves, why can't he just get in a few passes? We need some speed. We need a speed element right now. We need to be able to throw this defense off because they're focusing on CeeDee Lamb. Throw him, do a 9 route with them. Do something, get something involved. And he never did. Maybe I looked at him with the stigma of, oh, you just came from the USFL. You ain't going to help us on the receiving core. You just going to stay as a punt or kick returner. Guess what? We've already seen, you know what? He's played himself, although he did drop a big pass today, he's played himself into a role of receiver now. We weren't talking about a receiver under Kellen Moore, but right now we're talking about him making in the top 6 receivers on the Dallas Cowboys. Right. So that tells you already right there there's a difference, and we've been seeing his play-making ability on the field. And we're like, dang, why we didn't see this last year? So that's a testament to what Mike McCarthy and Schottenheimer are already trying to incorporate. You see a lot of the bunch routes. You see a lot of them bunched together, rub routes, and you seeing guys get open. We didn't see a lot of that with Kellen Moore. No. You see what I'm saying? So you see a lot of the difference in the implement of the offense, and guys will be able to get open because of scheme.
Check this out, Big.
Yeah, man.
Hold on real quick, OC, real quick.
Yep.
Because I was saying last year, the reason why we not seeing Tolbert and the reason why we weren't seeing Convante was because of Kellen Moore offensive system. It was too complicated.
Mike McCarthy taking over play calling. What has been the biggest difference?
I just say the biggest difference, he ain't making it hard like it was last year. You feel me? I just feel like he making it like a West Coast, like he wanted to be, like we was in Green Bay. And I just feel like it making guys, more easier than like it was. It's not a lot of personnel, it's a lot of plays. So I just feel like he making it way more easier, and guys don't got.
Like, I think that hearing Dak friendly, and we've heard that word before, but we didn't see that, right? Like, we've heard people use those words saying that this offense is going to be Dak friendly, but I don't think that we've seen it to this capacity. And Isaiah Stanback said something the other day on I think Talkin Cowboys about the West Coast system, and he said there's only 9 routes in the West Coast system. Now, granted, you can add wrinkles. I'm sure different coaches do everything, but the foundation is 9 routes. And if I'm a young player and I understand, I just have to learn those routes, learn my cues, learn my hand signals or whatever. I think that makes it easier for everybody around to know what their job is and how to continue to do their job and be cohesive. So I'm Dak friendly sounds good to me, but the fact that we're actually seeing that it looks friendly, because he looks sharp. He looks sharp. That to me is encouraging, because we've heard, like I said, we've heard it before and it didn't look that friendly.
But thank guys you go out there and just play fast.
So now that we done simplified it and we going into a West Coast to where now we're back to you running your best route.
So this is the deal. With this super chat real quick, and OC, I got you, I promise.
No worries, man. No worries.
Just people got questions, I want to answer them. I'm saying that.
No worries.
Because I like this comment, but it says a lot. He said, I can't believe during the Gallup interview that the wide receivers didn't have to know QB drop back steps. It blows my mind. Yeah, and see, this is the thing, bro. We've been on the final word harping on this for a year. Like, see, this is one of the things that's kind of frustrating, to be honest. People just not kind of catching on to this. It's really frustrating when we've been warning, but people have been treating us like we were just talking. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, people been treating Big like he just complaining. They've been treating the OC like, oh, just shut up. Shut up, OC. Whatever. You're a conspiracy theory. No. He was, listen to Mike McCarthy. Listen.
A football education from you when it comes to a point of discussion. And this week it's the option route based upon the Packer game. Can you just explain to us, Coach, as simply as you can, the complexity of option routes, why they're so difficult to stop, and why they're so difficult to execute?
Well, it's just like anything in football. You're tying every route, in an offensive play, but you're tying every route to the quarterback's feet. And the option route is the exception, because the quarterback
that's the problem right there.
Maker where the ball goes.
Hold on, let me pause.
When you have a route.
See, that's what people got to catch. See, because Coyote say, I can't believe during the Gallup interview that the wide receivers didn't have to know QB drops. That's because, what did Mike McCarthy just say? The option routes was the exception to that rule. So when Dak, so just think about it. We won 12 games where Dak feet didn't have to match the receivers. So it just tells you how good we getting ready to be, man. For real. Go ahead, OC.
Yeah, no, just real quick. I mean, here's the thing that I've kind of thought about more as we've talked about this. I said that last year with Turpin. I said, look, you got something called the 7, the 8, and the 9. Let him run those routes. Yep. Those are simple. Run a flag or a corner, run a post or run a go or a fake. Right. Simple, man. Just top of the route tree. You don't got to think.
Right. Yeah.
You just got to explode. But there's such a thing that I've seen in life and also in the coaching world. I've seen elite intellectuals, but elite intellectuals, when you're dealing with regular men, like men that don't think the way you think, not that they're not smart, but they don't think and process the information the same way you do. You have to become a good teacher. And the sign of a good teacher is you can take complex concepts and you can make it simple. And so the disconnect and the blow up, as I think about it more and more, was that Kellen Moore wasn't really a good teacher. He wasn't a good teacher. He was an arrogant intellectual. He was a guy that was smart, still is, super smart guy, had complex concepts, probably a few things ahead of his time a little bit, and he expected people who never seen it in their life to get it. And if you didn't get it, you weren't gonna play. And so now you're throwing the baby out with the bathwater because you got fantastic athletes that I don't care if you can't read past the 10th grade, but you can run past everybody on the football field. That dude should be on the football field. And I'm not saying that he can't. I'm not saying anybody can, but I'm saying, look, it doesn't matter about how high you think the guy's IQ is. This is football. Athletically, if he's better, you got to find a way to get the dude on the field. And that was the huge disconnect. And to me, even with Jalen Tolbert, the fatal flaw that really put the nail in the coffin with Kellen Moore.
I'm going to add just a little bit to that, OC. I think you've been mostly right. Slight pushback. I'm talking about slight.
Come on.
I think it was more arrogance.
I said arrogant intellectual. I said that. He was an intellectual, arrogant dude.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I said.
Okay.
He was an intellectually arrogant dude. Like, you don't get it, you don't get my stuff. This is brilliant. Almost like in love with my ideal so much that it's so brilliant. You don't see how brilliant this is. You don't get my brilliant ideal. You buffoon, you sitting on the sideline. Forget you. Like, frustrated because you didn't get the greatness of his ideal. You didn't get the grandeur of his ideal. You know what I'm saying? It's people like that. No, seriously, it's people like that. Like, you don't see how great this is. You know, so screw you, man. Forget you, man. So that's what happened.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah, but also bouncing off what OC is saying, that when you feel like you're brilliant and then you got other people telling you you're brilliant within the organization, you feel like you got to listen to anybody else. That's where the arrogance comes as well. Because not only do I feel like my concepts are great, my owner is telling me my concepts are great.
True.
And when you got that backing and he's telling you your owners are telling you you're great, then now you feel like you're going to listen to what I say or you're going to sit the bench. What we talk about with Scott Linehan, we saw how he would get in his playbook and be stingy where it was, and players are like, dog, they know what we're going to do, and he's still doing it. Isn't that arrogance?
That's arrogance.
Yes. Isn't that arrogance?
Yes.
Super arrogant.
Super. And see, that's why I'm proud to be independent, because we can really have the conversations that some might be afraid to really say. You know what I mean? Like, but this is necessary conversations that you have to say. You have to be able to have these discussions. You cannot, for your own security, ignore things that could be in the way of you winning. Now, I'm gonna flip it to something else real quick. Now, this is really, if Cal don't come in by the time we get to talking about this, we're gonna have to just reschedule. All right, because yeah. Now keep in mind, so Cal, he is interviewing, right? So you never know how long that type of stuff gonna take, you know.
And you know, he's on the West Coast.
Yeah. So, but trust me, if he come in, it's gonna be worth it, because we got plenty here that I want to talk to him about. I'm talking about, he laid out some nuggets within the last 2 days. Can I, before I kind of go to this, can I play a nugget that he laid out? Let me just play one of these nuggets real quick. Dope nugget. Listen to this.
He mentioned, I didn't want to get too far off topic, but when he mentioned John Stevens, I will just say, from my perspective of, wanting to take like the best videos during camp, if Luke Schoonmaker had John Stevens' highlights, and I'm not saying that there's a ton, but there's been a few, people would be losing their mind about it.
What? See, we can't let that go past us. Let me rewind what he said real quick, because
topic, but when he mentioned John Stevens, I will just say, from my perspective of, wanting to take like the best videos during camp.
So remember, John Machota pretty much takes, out of all of those guys, the most and the best out of everybody. Like, Cal had a good day today. Like, he did good on keeping up with them clips, but John is on it literally every day. But what he was saying is, John Stevens had way better plays than Schoonmaker, and if it would have been Schoonmaker that made those plays, it would have been lit. See, that's the type. Hold on.
If Luke Schoonmaker had John Stevens' highlights, and I'm not saying that there's a ton, but there's been a few. People would be losing their mind about it because he's made some nice grabs. And I think on our first show, I want to say you might have mentioned him. I know you guys had mentioned John Stevens, and I came into camp not really. I mean, it was kind of like, well, I kind of know who the top 4 in the depth chart at tight end. That's probably cut and dry, but I will say he's done some things over the last week and a half where I'm like, damn, kid's pretty good.
Kyle's definitely the head of the fan club. He brought my attention to it, and he's made some heck of a plays.
So it's some stuff I want to talk to him about. You know what I mean? Like that's gonna be juicy that people not even looking for. And see, that's kind of hidden, So, but I want to talk to y'all about this real quick. And if he don't come in after we done having this conversation, then we'll just, trust me, I got all this stuff saved. We gonna be able to have these conversations in the near future if we have to reschedule. But yeah, and keep in mind, let me also plug this real quick. We might even try to get them in together. That'd be dope. Cal.
Let me get this super chat right quick before I forget it, boss. It's from B, $10 holla. Appreciate you. Said, why hasn't been mentioned once on the channels that Kellen has not put up a top-rate offense with Cooper Rush or anyone not named Dak? They won't dare say maybe or elite quarterback made the OC shine. Just some things to think about.
Well said and good super chat. It goes back to what I was saying earlier, and I think the OC summed it up best. I think the people in the building could read who had the political weight. Can we just be honest? That's why all the press conferences was always soft on Kellen and hard on Mike. Did y'all notice that?
I mean,
go ahead.
Don't I didn't mean to cut you off, but don't we remember when they kept on drilling Stephen Jones, right? And the question I'll never forget is when they said, whose decision was it to get rid of Kellen Moore? He said, that was Mike's. That's all I need to hear.
Yep.
I didn't hear them say that was ours. That was Mike's.
Yep.
So that tells you they would have rolled with it again if Mike McCarthy was cool with keeping Kellen Moore one more year. Do you think that they would have got pushback from the front office? No.
They'd have been like, let's run it. All right, but this is the thing that I also want to talk to Kyle about. I'm going to talk to y'all about this too. But this is something that I know Haley as well as Kyle are going to do a good job. Trust me on this. Because see, Kyle, if he come in, this is the thing that he does on his Twitter. That's good.
Yes, I love that.
Me too. I love this.
I post on all my channel.
Yes, this is good. This is very good intel from Kyle to where every day he highlights the baller of the day, right? So, and I'm being honest, whenever we are watching these clips, we're not getting a real feel of what's going on. Those are just clips. That's like trying to grade a player on highlights. Would y'all respect anybody that told you, oh, I watched this highlight, so I know what he's about? You'd be like, come on, bro. You watched the highlight? You feel me? You feel? So let's be honest. Every one of us that's watching clips, we not getting the full picture. Now, we getting a feel. Highlights will give you a feel, but it's not giving you the real. All right.
Yep.
So this is what I'm saying, and this is what I want to know.
Oh, Kyle's here.
Oh,
he just sent me something.
Let me see.
He says I'm in here.
Let's go. Whew. Man, we've been.
You talked him up. You talked him up. He talked you up, Kyle. He talked you up, Kyle.
Oh, man.
Is that a great segue?
Yeah, I was trying to see if he was talking me up or if he was ripping my guys' names. I was trying to see which one it was. I was trying to see where we were headed. And
No, man. We've been excited for you to show up because we got.
He done mentioned you 4 times in a row. If Kyle's in here, I said he's gonna speak Kyle into existence. He's gonna speak him into existence, and there you are. We appreciate you, dog.
And I'm glad you came in now. Now we go keep.
I feel so bad for being late, but I mean it's a part of training camp. I mean some of the filming went long, and we had some sit downs because I'm calling the game on Saturday, So
Right.
we've had some production sit downs with a couple of the players and a couple of coaches, and that went like way long. And so I literally just got back to my room. I mean, it's like, what is it, 7:19? And I mean, I've been going since like 8 a.m. this morning. So
Hey, we already been
I'm
talking
sorry for
about
being
that,
late,
big
but I'm
dog.
glad I'm here.
No, Cal. Go ahead, Big. What you saying?
No, I was just saying we had already talked about that, how you've been putting in work. We appreciate you like no other in the Cowboys community. The work you're putting in, the interviewing, the talking. I mean, I don't know how you're doing it, dog. I don't know how you're making it and how you're doing it, but we definitely appreciate you. And we were just talking about your MVPs, your daily MVPs, and how that's been. It's been really helping us. We were talking about the highlights, but to get the gist of it, you really putting those camp MVPs out there. I just want to ask you the question, what motivated you to kind of do that? Because it's very good. And did it just come out of nowhere? Or is this something that you've been thinking about doing for a while?
Yeah, honestly, it came out of nowhere. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I was sitting in the tent because when we get done with practice, there's like a media tent off on the tennis courts at Oxnard for the fans out there that have never been out there. And usually, whenever we get over there, it's like, okay, let's open the laptop, send out a couple tweets. Usually, mine are the camp notes where I've kind of put bullet points on where certain players impressed or didn't impress. Just like honestly, it's not even just to put out. It's just the notes that I take for myself, and so I put it into type, and then I put it out there for everybody else to enjoy. Because I mean, what good are my notes if I can't share them with Cowboys Nation too? So that's always been a thing of mine. I've done that since my first training camp that I worked back in 2020, and then kind of worked into that. But I was typing it up. I think it was like day 4 or 5, one of the two, practice 4 or 5, where I was like, wow, maybe I should just give out an MVP, like an MV practicer, most valuable practicer. And so I started it, and I backtracked a little bit. I think I was 5 days in, so I went back to the beginning, and I looked at my notes, and I was like, oh yeah, Jalen Tolbert was the first guy. Okay, Dak had a great day on day 4 or whatever it ended up being. And so I backtracked it. I want to get to day 10 and have all the first 10 on one tweet.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to start doing it one at a time. And it actually is, like you said, it's blown up into, yeah, there you go. There's the look at it right there. But it's blown up into something that I didn't even really anticipate to blow up into. I just kind of did it for fun one day. Now people are looking at it, and they're getting a good look at it. And as long as the fans enjoy it, I'll keep doing it. And I'm actually going to try and do it up a little bit bigger once we get back from Dallas. I've got a little project working on it to maybe do it a little better. I don't know. I may give you guys the exclusive. We'll see how we go over the next 10 minutes or so on
the exclusive.
You up front.
We want
Hell
it.
yeah, we
definitely
want the
want the
exclusiveness.
exclusive. But here we go, Cal. This is the reason I was saying what I was saying in terms of us trying to grade clips. What I was saying is we don't see the full view like you, right?
Yeah.
So what I want to ask you from somebody who's been out there every day and it has a list like this that goes from offense, defense. I always said we got 2 kings. Okay. Mike McCarthy and Dan Quinn. If you're a fan of Game of Thrones, you know.
Oh yeah.
All right. So I always said we had 2 kings. People are not really talking about the competition between them two, because initially the clips looked like the offense was killing them, but it looked like the defense is making a comeback, or it's more even now. Can you break down officially from being out there every day, who is winning the battle between the new kings?
So, yeah, I think that's an interesting point because, yeah, while Mike McCarthy's on the offensive side, Dan Quinn has done a hell of a job coaching up the defensive side. Honestly, I don't know if I see it the same. We had some early looks. That's great. They've always had, like, the offense has had guys like Jalen Tolbert and Jalen Brooks have great camps. CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks have been great. But really, that offensive line has struggled all.
Yeah, that's what I want to talk about.
Biggest concern lies. Like, I think that offensive line has had some trouble. If you gave me a win or a loss, like if I were to go 50-50, win or a loss for all of the camp days so far, the win to the offense on 3 days, and I would give the win to the defense on 6 days. just out of the 9 practices that we've had so far. I think the defense has looked very good. And that's not to say the offense has been terrible, but the defense is certainly the one that's setting the tone.
Ooh, and see, listen, that's why I said that, because the clip's not saying that. Is it big?
Yeah.
The clip's make it seem
No,
like,
it ain't saying that at all.
right. And see, and listen, this is why you got to go with people that got eyes out there. Did you have something, OC? Oh, no.
He froze.
Wi-Fi always get my boy.
Look at that. Look at the face, though.
So here we go. Let's
I've
go.
been caught on the freeze frame before too. OC, I got
What
you.
can
I feel
fans
you,
pay
man.
attention to as we get ready for Jacksonville this weekend?
Yeah,
I ain't mean to cut you off. What was you saying?
I was saying I've been caught on the freeze frame before. See, that freeze frame looks okay for me, but the freeze frame got me a couple times.
You perfect right there. And since you brought up offensive line, and shout out to Haley. She's going to be here next Tuesday. So we borrowing Kyle. And again, thanks for the late night. But let's talk about this offensive line. Here we go.
But what can fans pay attention to as we get ready for Jacksonville this weekend?
Yeah, you mentioned there's a lot of moving pieces up there right now, but you need to pay attention to Austin Richards. He's going to be over there on the left side, and you also have TJ Bass coming out of Oregon. So both of those guys are going to be getting a lot of opportunities, a lot of reps, especially with Tyron Smith, obviously probably not getting a lot of reps, and then Terrence Steele working his way back from injury.
But what can fans pay attention to as we get ready for Jacksonville?
Yeah, Austin Richards, I mean, a 5th-round pick, but the fact that TJ Bass is even in the conversation as an undrafted rookie out of Oregon shows just how much he's stepped up. Richards mostly utilized at the right guard spot, and then you've got TJ Bass at that left guard spot, so it's been very interesting. Yeah, Austin Richards, I mean, a 5th-round pick.
So that's obviously, we want to know about that, Cal. We want to hear more, because obviously with Zach Martin and all of that, you know, the people that's on the ground, we need to hear from you, Cal. What's going on with this offensive line and the guard position?
I think it's a little bit more than just Zach Martin at the moment. I mean, they're missing Zach Martin. They're missing one of their leaders, and that's pretty apparent, especially on the right-hand side. I mean, Terrence Steele's coming back from injury. He looks great whenever he's out there, and he's able to set his feet. He's able to move. I think there's nothing to worry about with Steele, but they've also used him in limited action and rotated guys in like a Matt Waletzko. You expected Matt Waletzko. You expected Josh Ball to take that step, and I don't know if I can say confidently that they've done that. I don't think Waletzko or Ball has really shown anything that makes you confident in the depth of this offensive line, and they were really counting on this front office, and this coaching staff has really been counting on both of those guys taking a step forward this offseason. So I think that's a little discouraging, at least from the offensive line standpoint. The encouraging side is that the aforementioned players there, both Richards and TJ Bass, have done a great job as rookies that have come into the fold and looked good initially. I really like what I've seen from TJ Bass. I think Brock Hoffman's had a good camp so far. Richards has been showing some guard tackle flex at times as well. So really the three of those guys have stepped up and have done a nice job, but it has not been easy because this defensive front is nasty. And I put an emphasis on nasty because that defensive front is going to be scary. So it's not like they're going up against a pillow fight. They're not going up against an easy level of competition. They're going up against one of the best defensive fronts in football, and I have no problem saying that they may be a top 5 or even better defensive front in football, and they're really showing it right now in practice.
And just real quick, just a quick follow-up. No, Big, did you have something real quick?
No, I mean, just on that point, man, I'm excited to hear about the back part, the back end, especially Richards, because he's one of your picks, right? And then the TJ Bass. I mean, I think people were talking about him even when he was in college. Be careful about this guy; he can be sneaky. So to get those good feedback already, because that's my only biggest question mark, right? That's a lot of our biggest question mark is that offensive line. But the good thing about it is, right, what Kyle's been saying is this defense is so nasty. Hopefully you're getting fire put on you every single day. This is going to make you better, right? You're not going against an average defensive line. You're not going against something that, you feel like you can dominate. So the good thing about this is you're getting this fire, and this can only make you better. But it is very concerning that we've been talking about, especially Matt Waletzko. Not to me so much Josh Ball, but we've been talking about Matt Waletzko, and the team has been talking about Matt Waletzko, and he's been kind of like, in my opinion, like the golden kid. We've been waiting for this guy to take the next level, and he's still doing the same things. That's my concerning thing because they had high hopes for him a year ago.
Yeah, I think that's really the biggest thing for me is you want those guys to step up, because if they don't, your depth is severely in question. And that's where I'm at right now. I'm looking at the depth and I'm saying, okay, this is getting a little bit scarce for me just early on of not being able to see those young guys develop. But they've found some odd places, or they found some help in odd places, like a Terrence Steele. I mean, look at Terrence Steele as an undrafted free agent during the 2020 season. The fact that they picked him up and now he's your unquestioned starter at right tackle. And Terrence Steele didn't look good in his early years either. And so the fact that he kind of took the reins and he's now very much so comfortable in that position, it shows that this team knows how to draft and knows how to find offensive linemen. And I think you're seeing some of those same early flashes from a guy like Bass and a guy like Hoffman and possibly Awesome Richards as well. I think all three of those guys have a chance to do some damage.
Kyle, Aisha, she was on the show last week. She raised an excellent point, and maybe you might be able to help me out on this. She said maybe the offensive line might not be as bad because it's just a wave of so many defensive linemen with exponential talent. Can you expound on that to where maybe it can be going into Jacksonville that the superior defense is not going to be what they're going to face? I just want to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think Aisha brings up a great point, because it's a double-edged sword. You're looking at this offensive line and saying, man, they can't slow down anybody. But you're also saying, wow, this is exciting because our defense can't be stopped by anybody. This is great. So you don't have any of that gauge. At least the last couple of years, you've looked at Los Angeles in 2021. The Rams came to town. You got to see Connor Williams get into it with Aaron Donald and hold his own and said, okay, maybe these guys are ready to go up against good competition. Last year, it was Denver and it was Los Angeles and the Chargers. I think last year there were 3 different joint practices. You don't have that this year. So there's a lot of excitement, at least from my standpoint, to see this team, to see the defensive front, to see the offensive line, especially in the preseason games. Because if they face Jacksonville, who has a nice front seven as well, should they want to play everybody that's up there on the front seven, or at least rotate guys in, I think you'll see a good test for this offensive line there as well. And then you turn to Seattle in week 2, and maybe you're able to build some confidence going into that week as well. So yeah, it's a double-edged sword, because every time there's a sack on the field, it's either, wow, Micah Parsons or Sam Williams or DeMarcus Lawrence have been great, but oh my gosh, Chuma Edoga can't block anything. And that's not necessarily the case. I mean, you're going up against 3 guys that know how to get home and have had success getting home. It's just whether or not that can carry over, or maybe this defense just is really that good.
Here we go. I want to play this clip. Did you have something big?
No, go ahead with it.
He mentioned, I didn't want to get too far off the topic, but when he mentioned John Stevens, I will just say, from my perspective of, wanting to take like the best videos during camp, if Luke Schoonmaker had John Stevens' highlights, and I'm not saying that there's a ton, but there's been a few, people would be losing their mind about it, because he's made some nice grabs. And I think on our first show, I want to say you might have mentioned him. I know you guys had mentioned John Stevens, and I came into camp not really. I mean, it was kind of like, well, I kind of know who the top 4 in the depth chart at tight end. That's probably cut and dry, but I will say he's done some things over the last week and a half where I'm like, damn, kid's pretty good.
Kyle's definitely the head of the fan club. He brought my attention to it, and he's made some heck of a plays.
Talked to Linda Wells yesterday, and he kind of looked at me and goes, I told you about John Stevens. He's been on it too, and he told me about the nickname Stretch for John Stevens, and that's kind of what the tight end group has been calling him. He gave me a little nugget yesterday. He goes, I got another new nickname for you, Bull, and it's Princeton Fant as the tight end.
He's a bully up there.
He's short, he's stocky, but he's strong
physical
up there, and he's very, very physical.
Yep.
Yeah. So everybody obviously interested in Schoon, right, with him starting to come back. But that really sparked me, because as I was saying before, we don't see what y'all see, and John go get us the best. He go get us the CeeDee Lambs, he go get us the Dak throw, he go get us the LVE interceptions, but it's the second and third team guys that y'all seeing. Like, are you sensing some Bland potential in those tight ends?
Yeah, I could see a couple of those guys sticking out. Now it's a crowded room. I mean, Lunda in that same conversation said he would like to take 4 or 5 tight ends at some point along the way. And the fact that they've carried 4 guys before, but 5 feels like it would be a stretch.
Yeah,
you've got 2 guys automatically: Jake Ferguson and Luke Schoonmaker as draft picks. They're going to make the team. They're going to be around. But then after that, you have Peyton Hendershot, who you think is a lock to make it. And then you've got John Stevens, Sean McEwen, Seth Green, and Princeton Fant as those other guys that can step up. So, man, I kid you not, I was warned about John Stevens. I liked what I saw on tape. He's a big-bodied guy. He's a converted receiver. He can push the field a little bit. They call him stretch because he's got a 6'6" frame, but also because he can stretch the field. Like there's a double meaning behind that one as well. So I was really looking forward to seeing John Stevens when the Pats came on, and he's not disappointed. I would say right now he's been the second most impressive tight end of the bunch going all the way through camp. If not, I mean, he's knocking on the door of being the most impressive tight end of the bunch through training camp so far. But I think Ferguson leads the pack. Then it's been Stevens. Hendershot's up there too. He's had a great camp so far. And then they really like some of the younger guys and what they've shown there too.
Man, I mean, that's crazy. That's a good thing for Dallas though, right? That's a great problem to have. You know, that's the kind of problem you want to have.
Yeah. That's not saying that Hendershot and Ferguson have been playing poorly. That's just as good as John Stevens has been. Like, I'm very comfortable saying that Ferguson and Hendershot are the top 2 guys. Those 2 guys have earned that keep, and they've been there, done that. Schoonmaker, we just haven't seen enough from. He's looked great the last 2 days coming back from that injury. But, man, I'm telling you, John Stevens has been fantastic. And I know the front office likes him. Linda Wells likes him. I believe Mike McCarthy is going to try and find a way to get him involved and use that big body in the West Coast offense. There's a lot of things to like in that young tight end room.
Real quick, also. So the world want to know, Kyle. Was it a great day for Diggs or a bad day for Dak?
That's a good question. It was a great day for Diggs. I will say it. Now, I know the internet is the internet, and it's going to blow up the way that it's going.
Exactly.
It was a great day for Diggs because it wasn't just Dak that he picked off. He picked off Cooper Rush in the one-on-one periods as well. So. And he had a chance to pick off somebody else. I think it was either Rush or Greer. I can't remember who it was in the back of the end zone of the one-on-ones. It's on Training Camp Live. You can go back and look at it if you want. But you could hear me in that second Trayvon interception. The first one, it was not a catch. It was in the back of the end zone. He held on to the ball, but he was like 10 yards out of the back of the end zone by the time that catch came down. That was the first one. Not a good catch, not an interception. Great catch just physically, but in terms of the rules of the game, it was not a catch. But the second one, the one where he comes underneath Simi Fehoko, you could hear in that video, if you could even play it again for me,
I got you.
You can hear me off to the side of Nick Harris in this clip saying, "Come on, Simi, find it, find it, find it." He didn't help out his quarterback at all there. It was underthrown, and honestly, I think it was underthrown because he thought Simi would come back to the ball and challenge for it before Diggs would find it. But Diggs found it first before Simi did, and there was really no contest there. So it was an interesting feel, and I was just saying, "Find it, Simi, find it," and he never really found it. It's been a rough camp for Simi Fehoko. He's had some drops. He hasn't been in the right spot at the right time. And I think that was one of those instances where he probably could have helped his quarterback out a little bit more.
Real quick, let me play it one more time so y'all can hear it.
Yeah, listen. Uh-oh.
Find it. I hear that. Find it.
Heard it Tuesday. And see, this is cool, y'all. This is one of the coolest things. Now, this is how hard this. Now, he done already did 20 shows.
He right, 25.
Yeah, 20 shows today. Not this week, today. And then,
today.
yeah. And now he uploaded all these videos, and he with us right now giving us fresh content. This is love. We owe
Yeah,
you.
for
We
real.
owe you at least. We owe you and your wife. We owe y'all
Dinner or
at least
something. Well, yeah, we're gonna have to hook you up, man. Yeah, we're gonna have to. We're gonna. Yeah, you gonna. Yeah, you. We're gonna send you out to dinner one day. You and wife, y'all. We got to. So we just.
I'll
This
hold,
is facts.
hold you guys to that, but you really don't need to
Hold
do
us.
that.
Hold
Honestly,
us. But we are.
I've
We
told
love
you,
you, dog.
I've told you guys this before. I love doing what I do. I love working in this business. I love working for this organization. I love working with Cowboys fans. And I love training camp because half the time I get to come out here and see Cowboys Nation and see some of these diehards and really get to kind of pick their brains too. I felt like today, like it was so fun. I got to meet a couple of fans today. Got to kind of talk to them, and they were saying, "Man, it made my day getting to just take a picture or get to talk." And like, I don't look at myself as a big deal. I look at myself as a guy that just loves to talk ball, loves to talk about sports. So it felt like I was a big deal for once. Like that was really fun, but that's not even the pride of it. The pride is being there with you guys, talking about this team, and continuing to create some badass content because that's what I'm here for.
Love it. Now, real quick, this is interesting to me what you talked about, and just want to hear it again and go back and forth with you. And we gonna be quick because I know you late.
What did you think about the topic of conversation? Mike McCarthy brought it up last week, of having Dak Prescott maybe mix in. He's undecided at the point. He's leaning toward no in terms of mixing Dak Prescott into the preseason, but do you think they need those reps? Because you talked about it, play caller in a new scheme, you might want to have some sort of reps under your belt before getting into week 1 against New York. Because then
excellent point. So I want you to kind of elaborate on that, and I want to kind of give you my thoughts and see if you can kind of maybe hear me out. I think if anybody I will feel comfortable being thrown out there would be Dak, right? Because of what he did when he was a rookie as a preseason. When he hurt his lat, remember when he hurt his lat? He came out there basically with no practice and killed it. And then how he came back from that thumb versus Detroit. But you raised the point with the new offense. You know, it's almost like it seemed like it make more sense for him to do something. Could you elaborate on that?
Yeah, I think with a new play caller and of course with Dak being the one that wears the green dot and he's going to make the play calls from an offensive standpoint, I think he needs to have that kind of repetition. And they get that sort of rep in practice. And he's the one making the calls in practice, but there's no such rep like a game rep, right? I mean, getting in there and having it against an opponent and being able to make your checks at the line of scrimmage, the check with me's, getting on the same page with your wide receivers and just making sure that everybody is working in cohesion. I think you might want at least a drive, maybe two, to just get it in a right spot from Mike McCarthy's standpoint. McCarthy's going to get the reps. He's going to get the reps just from calling the plays from the sideline in the middle of the preseason games. In the past, they've let Doug Nussmeier call the plays, or they let somebody else call the plays during certain preseason games. That's not the case. It's going to be Mike McCarthy for all 3 of these games, and I would almost make a bet on that because he's going to be the one that wants to get into a rhythm as a play caller himself. So if you're going to want to get in a rhythm, there's no better way to get in a rhythm than have your quarterback out there. But I will say, I will add one more thing real quickly. If Zach Martin is not out there blocking for Dak Prescott, I want Dak Prescott to be on the sideline in a headset, and he can get his reps out. I want Zach Martin to be there first.
I feel you. I feel that.
Well said.
Yes.
And it just makes sense too.
Well said.
Makes sense. Big. You had something on that?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna do 2 things. First, I'm gonna give a shout out to my sis, Miss Charles. She said, "This is what we do, Kyle." She said, "Make sure and tell Kyle this is what the nation does. We show our appreciation." So, number 1, shout out for the $5 holla. But number 2, she said, "This is what we do." So you just take it and run. Now, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna pivot just a little bit because I don't need to see Dak. That's just me. I don't need to see Dak because guess what? Dak has been injured the last few years, okay? And that still stays in my brain that he has had some injury off-the-field season. Not saying he's injury-prone, but he has a little bit more injury. So I'm cool with him sitting out, and especially like you said with Zach Martin. But I got to ask this question, Kyle. There's going to be some more, but these two I got to get out. You mentioned Simi Fehoko, and I've been adamant, not trying to ever diss Simi Fehoko, but I just felt like, you know what? I don't know if this experiment, how much it's going to last. Now, this is another opportunity where he's had to be able to step up, and those same things are creeping up. But you've had to show with Isaiah Standback, and that Jalen Brooks kid is looking fierce. He is looking monstrous, 6'3", 205, strong hands, just coming out the box. Does Simi have to have, much like I'm going to say Kelvin Joseph, does both of these guys have to have amazing preseasons to be on this roster? Because you got these other guys breathing down their neck. And how long are we going to go with this experiment because they're draft picks?
Good question.
I think you're spot on in the question, and even just asking it, because if you think about it, teams normally carry 6 wide receivers,
right?
Maybe 7 wide receivers, depending on how you want to view certain players, and I'll explain what I mean about that here. But you got 3 guys that are locks, right? CD, Gallup, Cooks. There's your first 3 guys right off the jump. There's 3. 4th guy is going to be Jalen Tolbert. Tolbert's had a great camp. He was a top 100 pick. They're not going to part ways with the top 100 pick just 1 year into his career. They're going to let that play out, especially whenever he's looked as good as he has at training camp. Then you've got 2 other positions. If you're taking 6 wide receivers, you got 2 spots there. Kavontae Turpin is your return man. So there's 1.
Yep.
Then you've got 8 different guys fighting for 1 position. You've got 13 receivers on the roster right now, and you've got 1 spot to give to those 13 guys. So if you're going to give to those 13 guys, right now Jalen Brooks has been the better of the 2. Between Simi Fehoko and Jalen Brooks, Brooks has been the better of the 2, and he's flashed more as a 7th-round pick than Simi at any point in his career has flashed as a 5th-round pick. So if that's the case, then I think overall, then you've got a bit of a dilemma there that you've got to find out. And honestly, Jalen Brooks is the one that's just taking the reins. If you take 7 receivers, I think there's a chance that Simi Fehoko's on this roster from maybe a special team standpoint. You lost Noah Brown last year. Maybe you have both Brooks and Fehoko on the team special teams wise, but you want to take extra defensive linemen. You probably want to take extra running back. You want to probably take an extra tight end. At some point, some position is going to get cut off, and you're going to have to make some tough decisions. And I think right now, Fehoko might be on the outside looking just based off of the camp that he's had so far.
Yeah. Now, Kyle, real quick, shout out to Kevin Gray. Kevin Gray is in the building. We always call him president. The president is in the building. We love to see you, Kevin. And also, we know you working right now. So when we get off the show, y'all also make sure y'all flood Kevin Gray with 105.3 The Fan. Now, I've been looking at Michael Gallup, and I'm going rapid fire because I want to get you out of here. Oh, that's Dennis Houston. I'm sorry. Wait, wrong clip. But
hey, it was still a nice throw, though.
No, that was a nice throw.
It was. And that was a nice catch.
Yeah.
Gallup versus Stephon, I think got him ready, Coach. I called you, Coach.
Coach Youmans, baby.
Coach Youmans, he talking like a coach today. So hey, let's be Coach Youmans. Give him the headset, dog. Give him the headset, man.
But no, like,
where's my headphones?
Michael Gallup, like, something is telling me, and I'm just being honest. Something is telling me Michael Gallup is back. Michael Gallup is back to me, and like I look at little things, like when he made that catch on the first day in pads, and then he looked at Gilmore and he did that. I said, ooh. So anyway, I want to just get your thoughts on, and I got one more question. We're gonna let you up out of here. But what's your thoughts on Michael Gallup and what you're seeing out there with the bouncing? Is he back, Cal? Is he back?
Ooh, I don't know if I'm there with you yet.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm there yet. I think there's times when Michael Gallup looks back and he's got some burst off the line of scrimmage. I think he's in a better spot now than he was at any point last year. So if he's better than he was last year, I already feel better about the situation as a whole. But to give him the expectation of him being Michael Gallup of 2018 or Michael Gallup of 2019, I think I'm a little reluctant to just put that pressure on him. Now, he's been working with the ones. I mean, it's not like he's been rotated out or he's one of those guys that they've trying to just shove down the depth chart. Like, he's working with Dak. He's working with Brandon Cooks. That's Dennis Houston making a nice grab. But I think for the most part, the way that they've utilized Gallup has been with the first team. So if that's the case, then let's keep on rolling. Here's Gallup right there.
Got it.
There you go. Yeah, left him in the dust. And if that's the case, if you can see more of that, then I think you will see more of the Gallup of 2018 or 2019. But I'm a little bit reluctant to do that because there's been times, like we talked about, or like you guys mentioned right at the beginning of the show, some of the stuff that you see in the clips, it doesn't tell the whole story of what's happening in practice.
Yeah,
and there's times when Gallup isn't making the grab, or he isn't able to get to a ball that at least looks catchable from our vantage point. So still a long way to go. I want to see him in game action before I really put the pressure back on him.
All right, and so I'm gonna put two questions together so I can get you out of here. The last time you was here, we talked about running back 2.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about a legitimate concern about the power back, right? And you talked about, which was really kind of low-key breaking, when you said, I know the Cowboys was interested in a power back, specifically the back from Texas and other backs. Are you feeling better about running back 2 and power back situations since you've been out there watching them go against a great D? What's your gut? Because we was one way before training camp. What is your gut now?
Well, I mean, yeah, going back to that, I mean, Roschon Johnson was one of the guys that they really looked at. They wanted that short yardage, that red zone back that they could go with. I mean, Zeke scored 12 touchdowns last year. That's by no accident.
Right.
I mean, even though Zeke wasn't the same Zeke that we've seen in the past, I mean, you don't score 12 touchdowns in the NFL just because you're handed the football. Like, no, you've got to go and do some things.
Right.
So the fact that they went and got Deuce Vaughn instead filled a bit of a role, but now you expect a guy like Rico Dowdle to step up. I mean, Rico Dowdle's a big-bodied back, 6'2", 215, or I don't think he's 6'2". What is he, like 6 foot, 215?
Yeah. That's
so
good size.
Overall, I think Dowdle is that guy right now that would be a short yardage back. I really like what I've seen from him. I think his vision's been great. His cut ability is fantastic. He looks healthy. He looks like he's confident in his running.
Boss.
If you can continue to see him roll through, there's ways that he can continue to get those reps. And I like what Malik Davis has done too behind Dowdle. Both of those guys have been sharing that number 2 role right now. I think it's 2A, 2B, but we got to wait until the preseason games because then you're really going to see what Deuce Vaughn can do. You're going to see if Ronald Jones can maybe fill that role. But right now, I think it's Dowdle and Davis leading the way, and then we'll see what happens come Saturday.
All right, so we go get into the final word. So I know you had a long day. Thank you. So my final word, thank you. No, real talk. First of all, Big and I knew you was showing up. We knew it. And it's because it's obvious you love talking football, 1, but then number 2, you so consistent. When you make your promises, we know it. Like, we know. We've been dealing with you long enough. We said, yeah, he's interviewing. When he finishes, he go show up because you always do.
I'm coming.
So we know that. And I want to say first, thank you greatly for just giving what you give, and mostly because you don't change. You have been the same person, whether I saw you 3 years ago, 4 years ago, humble North Texas guy that knew he wanted to do what he doing now. You know, when I first met you, we had that discussion about people jealous and all that kind of stuff because you rising. But it was one of those things that it's just obviously that you love what you do. So I just wanted to say thank you greatly for being not just a good insider, a good journalist, a damn good day play-by-play guy. You great at that, man. But just a good person. So I just really, really, really appreciate you and just extending your graces and arms to the community, to where we get to hear from people that got these privileged, beautiful spots, but come down and just talk ball with us. So, man, that's my final word. Thank you greatly.
Man, I really do appreciate you guys.
Big final words.
Okay. Well, my final word is this. I mean, Boss said everything, so I'm not going to repeat all that. I've just voiced all the same sentiments that he was so eloquently said all that, so I'm just going to bounce off of that. Now, my final word is this. I'm ready for some football, y'all.
Yes, sir.
I'm ready for, you feel me? I don't care about nothing else. Yeah. Sound the alarm. I'm ready for football. It seems like forever, and I don't know about y'all. This feels like a season. Now we say it every year, right? Let's keep it real. Yeah. This could be the season. Yeah. But honestly, Kyle and Boss, this could be the season. I mean, we really feel good about this defense. Well, I loved it. Yep, Kool-Aid, all that on defense for sure. Kool-Aid all on defense. But I just feel like, it's one mind, one thought. And I'm just excited to see what's going on. And I think the biggest thing I want to see, like you've been talking about, Kyle, is that offensive line. Yeah. If that offensive line, and please, Zach Martin, y'all figure this out. Figure that out, Dallas Cowboys and Zach Martin, y'all figure it out. Because I feel like the offense will start off slow because the defense is so daggone advanced. But I really feel like that offense is going to come along turn mid-season. Toward the end of the season is when you're really going to see that effectiveness. And once again, health is going to be the key for us because we haven't really talked about it. Brandon Cooks has looked nice, boy.
Yes, he has.
My God, Brandon Cooks coming off that line of scrimmage, y'all. Have y'all been seeing that? Oh. That's what we've been missing. When we talked about Michael Gallup, that speed element is there with him. Oh my God. And I'm excited to see with him with CeeDee Lamb, them two together. And Michael Gallup don't gotta be that right now. Because you got the Brandon Cooks and then the Jalen Tolbert stepping up and Jalen Brooks. I feel good. Y'all know I've been trumpeting this defense, but I'm getting more and more excited. Please, offensive line, continue to grow. Guys, step up, because if that offensive line takes its game to the next level, we're going to feel damn good about this team toward the end of the season. That's my final word.
Man, that's a damn good
I feel you, man. This is, you go into training camp every year thinking your team's got a shot. And realistically in the NFL, what is it, 8 teams, maybe 9 teams legitimately have a shot. This team has a shot. Yes. And so I'm right there with you. They are one of the 8 or 9 teams in the NFL that realistically have a chance to make it and to do it. And so they've got every piece. They've had a good offseason. Yeah, give me, oh yeah. Like, let me get in there. I mean, come on now. See, I think there's ways that it could go wrong. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of questions on the offensive line. You got to get the ground game going. There are ways that it could go wrong, but there are also a ton of ways that this thing can go right. And so that's the hope of football season. And that's why I love coming on with guys like you, both of you guys, and then even Law, the OC. I mean, all of you guys, you have a realistic expectation for what this team looks like, but a realistic expectation this year is high because the roster looks good. I mean, I've got my charts ready for Saturday. My notes ready, sitting right here.
Man,
got a lot of it. You don't have to screen
real right there.
You don't have to screen grab it. I'll post it on Twitter.
That man is working. That man is working. So, you also was that your final word? First, was that your final word?
Was it my final word or was it Boss's final?
No,
or
it was supposed
Big
to be
Game's final word?
Maybe your final word, but you also said that you had an exclusive for us.
Yeah, I could do that. I'll give you the exclusive.
Let's go. We wait.
Okay, so now tell me if this is a good idea. I haven't even really. I've shared it with my roommate Nick Harris, who of course is our newest Dallas Cowboys staff writer. You guys should get him on too because he does a fantastic job.
Yeah.
But
I've been sharing stuff on Twitter too.
Let him know. We go contact him.
Yeah. Okay, I'll let him know. I'll get you guys in touch.
Thank you.
So the MV practicer, the most valuable practicer, which is, like I said, blown up a little bit more the last week or so than I ever could have anticipated it. I think I'm going to go get a water bottle. I'm going to spray paint it gold, and I'm going to give it to whoever my guy is at the end of practice and have them take a picture with it and then use that in the post. So they would get a gold water bottle as a token because it's practice, right? Practice. You got a water bottle or maybe an orange slice or something. Like throw that out there, but I think I'm going to go with the water bottle because that's a little bit easier.
Go with the gold. Go with the gold water bottle. Go with the gold water bottle because
I haven't said
everybody
that
loves. Yeah,
that's the exclusive, Kyle.
That's all it was. Yeah, it's nothing crazy.
Yeah, you thought you was above the buttons.
Yeah. I told you it was about the MVP. It was about the MVP. That's what the exclusive was.
Man, hey, I thought you was getting ready to tell us Zeke back or something. No,
man, don't be saying there. You know he all he want to do is hear Zeke. Didn't you hear him say Rico Dowdell?
Yeah,
now
stop
it.
I did. Now you know I have to hit you with this, but listen, the only reason I hit Cal with that because Cal is down to earth. I would never hit anybody else because I know Cal can laugh. He one of the few people that can actually laugh. So anyway,
I'll let my people talk to your people. Don't even try and contact Nick Harris. It's not gonna happen. I'm gonna make sure.
Come on, Cal, don't do me like that, man. That was the final word, man. That was the final word. Thank you so much. That was dope. I loved it.
Appreciate you guys.
Man, that was crazy.
Appreciate you, dog.
Maybe I just wanna run it up. Can we check or something? I've been really in the field.
Hey, y'all come back next week. We will have Haley.
I've been really in the field.
In the
building, man. That was dope.
Another one.
I love Cal, man. Cal, cool dude. Very cool.
We say,
down to earth.
Would you say it's another one?
Can I hit him with that?
Oh,
Let me hit him
you
with
need
that.
to play it right now. Play
Another one.
Let's go.
You feel me?
Hey, should I hit him with the nuclear and the yoga?
Yeah. Man,
football season is here. Let's go.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yoga flame. Yoga flame.
Oh, should I hit him?
Yoga fire.
Yoga fire. Yoga flame.
Yes.
Yoga
indeed.
flame.
Yes, indeed, man. No, I enjoyed that. I really did. I tried to go rapid fire, man. I did big. I know. I didn't want to keep him up too late, man. I apologize.
It's all good. It's all good. We can have Kyle on like 4 more times.
I knew he was gonna bring it, man. So I was like, I got
Kyle the type of dude that he can be on like the final word extension. He's our final word extension guy. You feel me?
Yes, indeed.